Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, I nearly blew it with Remy. He ran off because he thought I was making fun of him, and it's like, crap, how did that happen? Well, managed to go back a few decision points and avoid that being an issue, so the Remy run is still good. With that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and hang out with Adine, because it seems like Remy and Adine's storylines are kind of intertwined, especially in regards to the hatchery. So, I'm going to go ahead and hang out with Adine now. Hello there, B-Force. Welcome to the stream. Here we are again. Just a minute! I hope I didn't forget anything. He said something about going to the beach. Yep. You know, I'm glad they decided not to send you away after all. Right. I am absolutely going to have to make sure I don't miss the portal leaving sequence on the next run. Me too. Oh, guess who got her entry confirmation for the stunt flying competition? Is it me? Don't be silly, Erika. I kind of wish I were a raccoon dragon, though. I've got it right here in black and white. We are happy to confirm your entry into the annual stunt flying competition. Please have your competitor number ready and show up at the organizator's booth at the summer festival by... Well, who cares about the rest? I'm in! That's great. Yeah, but the festival is pretty soon. I have to make the most of the time until then to get my skills up to par. I wonder if this is going to be the date in which I prevent Adine from dying during some stunt or something. I thought you already had years of experience. Yeah, but now I have to practice the best routine I can possibly come up with, not to mention making sure I can execute it flawlessly when the time comes. Practicing in general is very different than practicing for an event like this one. I see. Are you ready to see some stunt flying? Sure. Let's go then. So, this is where you usually practice? I practice just about anywhere, but today's a nice day for a beach visit. Water and sand are also good surfaces to practice complicated maneuvers on, in case you can't make the landing. Well, that makes sense. Makes sense. Well, don't let me hold you up. Oh, I can't just start practicing right now. I'm still giddy with excitement from getting that letter earlier. Besides, I wanted to hang out with you while we're here as well. Sounds good to me. Do you visit the beach often? Not really. Except for practice, that is. It does make for a nice backdrop while I fly, though. I see. Do you ever go to the beach? No. It's not something that was possible for me the last couple of years, but it certainly used to be something other people would do. I see. Sunning yourself can be nice sometimes, but I'm not really a fan of going swimming. There is so much more you can do at the beach, though. Like what? You already mentioned sunning. Do you ever get a tan? What's that? I had a feeling that would be her response. I guess that's a no, then. I'm guessing dragons can't really get a tan. Not unless it's possible for dragons to get sunburns. Maddie says, scales don't do that. That's kind of what I'm figuring. To be fair, you are completely covered in scales, so I imagine you wouldn't be affected. Tanning is a reaction of the skin when it's exposed to sunlight. If humans stay in the sun for a while, our skin can get darker. How strange. And if we are exposed for too long, we can even get what is called a sunburn. And what's that? Well, the skin can take on a reddish tint, and it can also be painful and cause dizziness. I don't recall ever getting dizzy from a sunburn. And I have had sunburns before, and I'm sure all of y'all have had sunburns as well. I don't have to go into detail in what they are like. So, you have to be careful not to stay in the sun for too long? Pretty much, though that isn't necessarily true for all of us. Depending on the skin tone, people can be more or less affected by the radiation. I see. That sounds kind of complicated. And does that mean we shouldn't stay here for too long? I imagine if dragons don't get sunburns, then I can't exactly ask if she has any sunscreen. I'll just have to be careful. I see. Just let me know if I need to do anything. Well, it would be kind of neat to be draped under one of your wings. Sure, will do. Maddie says, I assume you're wearing clothes, so you're probably not at huge risk. You would think that, but I have actually been sunburned under my hair. That absolutely sucks. 'Cause all of a sudden, showers are not so nice anymore. You said you don't like swimming all that much. Why is that? Well, as you can imagine, I prefer the air to the sea, even though we flyers have quite a relationship with the water. What kind of relationship are we talking about? We use it to hunt. I see. So you go fishing, but can't swim all that well. Pretty much. We can do enough to safely hunt and paddle on the surface, but that's about it. If we actually want to go swimming, it's recommended we wear a life vest. Is it that bad? Our wings are made for flying, not for swimming. The movements and musculature are rather different. With swim training, we can learn to swim better, but it still wouldn't really be effective. You know, I always imagined that if I were really a raccoon dragon, I could use my wings to almost glide under the water. I suppose they aren't necessarily made for that, though. I wonder how dragons like Adine hunt in the water. You think it's like how eagles, dive down to the water and catch fish at the surface? I wonder if Adine has grabby feet. I see. And besides, who would choose to learn to swim if we already have the air to ourselves? Flying is just your thing, I guess. Pretty much. You made it sound as if beaches are a pretty important thing for humans. I wouldn't say important. Rather, it's a unique way for people to spend time. It was often done as a leisure activity or a way to spend holiday vacations. That sounds pretty important to me. What else did you do at the beach? Let me think. I got an idea and started looking for something in the sand on the ground. With a bit of digging, I found a flat, smooth stone and showed it to her. Do you have any idea what I'm going to do with this? Not really. Let me show you something. I went to the edge of the water, followed closely by Adine. Now, watch this. I extended my arm with the best technique I could muster before I threw the stone towards the water. Spinning in the air, the stone bounced on the water's surface a few times before it sunk into the sea. I'm not sure I've ever managed to actually do that. Granted, I'm not sure I've actually had very many opportunities to try. What was that? Stone skipping. Never heard of it? No! How'd you do that? I can show you. Maddie says it takes practice, and I'm no good at it myself. People make it look so easy. But I suppose you would have to kind of know what you're doing. I imagine you would have to, like... Well, first off, the type of stone matters. It's gotta be one of those flat stones. And then you fling it kind of like a frisbee with it slanted upward so that it catches the waters and bounces, kind of like glides off of it. Like the front of a boat. But I wonder if it's... I would imagine it might be tricky to actually have it angled correctly. Maddie says, nice and flat. You have to sort of roll the side along your finger and get just the right spin. I didn't know there was a spin to it. I looked around for another suitable stone and soon found one near the edge of the water. Let's start with a stone. Ideally, we want one that has a big surface area, but is as flat as possible. Got it. B4 says, I wonder what went through the mind of the first person to pull it off. Probably, oh crap, as they were burned at the stake for witchcraft. This one is also really smooth, which helps too. Okay, so we need smooth, flat stones. Now, the technique is also pretty important. I'm not sure how well this will translate to your anatomy, but I'll just show you how I do it, and then we can figure out what you can do. Okay. Hold the stone like this, extend your arm, and curl it like this. Then you have to throw it in such a way that it stays relatively stable in the air, but spins as fast as you can make it. You know, it's almost a shame that we never see me on camera, but at the same time, it's probably a good thing that we don't see me on camera, because we can assume I'd look how I want to look. I do it like this. I threw the stone, once again showing her how it's subsequently bounced a few times over the water's surface before it sunk into the sea. I'm not sure if I can do that. We'll see. Maybe we can figure something out. Let's look for a stone first. Okay. We both started looking for another appropriate stone. I saw Adine scratching around the sand with one of her feet. She crouched down to pick something up before she returned to me. Here, what about this one? That should work. See, you've already got that part down. Guess so. Okay, now for the technique. She was holding the stone in the claws at the edge of her wing. I tried to guide her by pulling her wing back like I would an arm, but it became clear to me that it lacked a lot of maneuverability an arm would have. I hope this leads to us trying it with our feet, because that would be neat. For the throw, you'll want to move your wing forward as fast as you can, and at the very end of the extension, let go of the stone. Ooh, I bet the pin-up for the sequence will be her successfully throwing a stone. I don't necessarily know that pin-up is the right word, but that's what I'm using for lack of a better word. Maddie says, someone's gonna pop out of the water and get clocked. It suddenly makes me wonder if there's any water dragons in this world. I'll try. I could see her moving her wing awkwardly. She pushed it forward before releasing the stone, which sunk without bouncing a single time. That didn't work. Yeah, there wasn't really enough spin on it. Let me try again. Alright. I waded a few steps into the water to retrieve the stone she'd thrown only moments ago. Here you go. I'll try something different this time. Feel free. Haha! Instead of using her wing, she took the stone into the dexterous claws on one of her feet as she continued to stand on the other leg. Effortlessly, she pulled her leg back before rapidly moving it forward and releasing the stone. It flew in a bit of an upward arch before it bounced off the water surface once and subsequently sunk into the ocean's waters. Nice. Not bad, huh? You know, at times I consider having feet like that on my persona, but at the same time, I don't feel like having yet another Endslate drawn for my Endslate. I've gone through enough redesigns, thank you very much. I had no idea you could do that with your leg. Actually, our legs are what we mainly use to grab things. It only gets complicated if I'm supposed to be moving at the same time, like when I'm waiting in the cafe. So that makes two dragons who are kind of not necessarily in the correct line of work. Adine with waitressing and Remy with handling artifacts. And if you want to go further, Bryce has been trying to learn how to build ships with his paws. Interesting. I suppose for someone who's hunting while flying, that's pretty much a requirement. It is. Actually, if I'm at home and eating chips or something, I usually use my feet as well. Okay, this'll sound weird, but I would not mind actually seeing that. B4 says, biggest change I've gone through was going from a thin tail to a thick floofy one. Oh boy, as long as we're talking about changes, let me pull up an image I drew years ago. This was way back in 2006 when I first started being a raccoon dragon. I still have the image I drew somewhere. It is right in another folder, actually. Hold on a sec. Here it is. So, first image I drew of myself as a raccoon dragon. I mean, obviously still male, but besides that, let's see here. I had raccoon feet instead of dragon feet. My ears were a little more dragon-like, and my hands and feet and wings were kind of a green hue, like a dragon. So, there's definitely been some changes with me over the years. And yes, Beer Force, I had pants. I wish I could do that with my feet. Oh, really? Yeah, some monkeys actually can. They basically have hands instead of feet. So they have 4 hands? Yep. That seems like it'd be handy, but I think I like my wings better. That was a neat trick, though. So, what else can you do at the beach? I don't know. Build sandcastles? I haven't done that in like 2 decades. I tried to imagine what Adine building a sandcastle would look like. Based on what I knew now, she probably wouldn't be using her wings. Would you believe me if I told you we used to have contests for building sandcastles back home? I've never been to one of those sandcastle building contests, but I've seen the results of them, and those are pretty neat. Yeah, I imagine sandcastle building contests have not been a thing these past couple of years, though. Really? Yeah, people would build huge, detailed sculptures that would be taller than both of us, just with sand. Oh wow, that sounds hard though. You could try it if you like. Ha, I'm not sure I have the patience for that. To me, it seems a bit of a shame to build big, elaborate sculptures out of something like sand that clearly won't last. I mean, if you're going to spend so much time on it, why not create something that will stay? Let me back up. Point of the contests. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with it, so I'll say the other option. Actually, the point of the contest. Oh, really? Yes, people demonstrate their skill in creating these sculptures. And by using something like sand, they prove that it doesn't matter if the sculpture gets destroyed in the end because they can just do it again if they like. I see. That's pretty interesting. Actually, it's not unlike your stunt flying competition. How so? I will refrain from making a joke about how she's going to get destroyed. Well, during your competition, nothing lasting is created from the performance itself. It's all about the experience and memories. You have to prove that you are skilled enough to do those stunts right at the very moment, just for the competition. That's a good point. I'm in the mood for a snack. Should I get something for you as well? Are you gonna pull a fish out of the ocean for me? Well, I mean, I've already ate what Anna hunted for me, so sure, why not? Alright. You can watch me if you like. Maybe you can learn a thing or two from it. You want me to teach me how to fish? Sure, since you taught me the... What is it called again? Stone skipping. Right. Since you taught me the stone skipping, I can show you how to fish. Okay. We actually have two very different ways of doing it. There is hunting and angling. Personally, I prefer hunting, though. I can see why. Let me demonstrate. She took a few steps back, then started running towards the edge of the sea. Rapidly flapping her wings, she jumped into the air at the last second, taking off and flying around the area. I could see her staring at the sea intently, circling a few times before descending towards the water's surface, claws extended. When she got close enough, her claws suddenly sunk into the water, only to reappear with a fish in their grasp. Afterwards, she returned and landed near me. Darn, I was hoping for one of those images to show her grabbing the fish. Oh! Ha! She actually used her goggles. That's kinda cute. Did you see that? Yeah, but I think my distinct lack of wings would probably prevent me from doing the same thing. You don't have to do exactly the same thing. In the end, I'm just grabbing them right out of the sea. You could do that. I'm not so sure about that. I bet it's a lot easier with your claws. Fish can be pretty slippery. Maddie says any creature can be made more cute with goggles. Indeed. Take, for example, Gadget Hackwrench. I told this little story once before, not necessarily in this playthrough, but when I was a kid, I would actually emulate Gadget's goggles by wearing swimming goggles over my head. Didn't really do that all the time. It would have been kind of weird to wear swimming goggles at Walmart, but while I was out playing, I did. Who's Gadget? Keep is asking who is Gadget. Gadget is from Rescue Rangers. And there is quite a fan base for Gadget. Let me just say, I forget what country it is, but in some country, possibly Russia, there's actually a religion based on Gadget. Anyway, fishing easier with claws, right. I guess you have a point. Well, there's still the other method. Angling. Yep, angling. See my tail? She showed me her tail. At its end, there was a fork in it, with a distinct shape, size, and color. It reminded me a lot of a banana. What about it? This is the bait. She sat down near the edge of the water, letting her tail hang down into it. This can take a while sometimes, but there are techniques which can speed up the process. The right amount of movement attracts different kinds of fish. That way, we can even choose what we're going to get. I reiterate, these dragons are really fascinating. And that works? Yeah. Not all the time, but often enough. Interesting. There are even groups that exchange tips and such for angling this way. Suddenly, I saw her whip her tail upwards, which caused a fish to be launched towards the beach, where it landed on the ground with an audible thud. There you go. That didn't take too long. It can be very hit and miss. I just got lucky this time, and it's not even the kind of fish I really wanted. I guess that's why you prefer hunting. Yep, and you also don't get the nipple scars on your tail where the fish bite you. I was wondering about that. I see. Though, I suppose angling is also going to be hard for you without a forked tail like we have. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. Actually, we have fishing rods for that where I come from. What's that? Again, this dragon world is interesting. It's like, you don't need no fishing rods, you got a tail. As an aside, my dad is big into fishing, but not so much me. I'm not really a fan of hooking fish into those hooks, and yeah, it just seems painful. And on that note, I'm not necessarily into hunting as well. I'm the sort of person who cannot hurt a fly. Like literally, I will just let a fly walk all over my arm and not really do anything about it. It's not hurting anything. Anyway, fishing rods. The principle is very similar. Basically, it's a long stick that we hold over the water. A line connected to it has a bait and hook at the end to catch the fish. When the fish bites the hook, we can reel in the line to get the fish to us. So you are using a tool to do a very similar thing. Basically, yes. Sometimes we also fish using nets. Oh, some of us do that as well. Not my kind, but usually it's those who either work for a fishing company or sell seafood on the market. I imagine someone like you doesn't have to buy their fish on the market, though. True, but sometimes it's easier to just get them there to get what I want to, instead of coming all the way here. I wonder if there are people like me in this dragon world who don't like hunting and killing animals to not even for the sake of eating. Let other people do the dirty work. Like, when I'm eating a hamburger, I don't think about where it came from. I try not to anyway. That would kind of ruin it. I imagine that's why vegetarians exist. They thought about it. Kiba says Anna has no issues with that. Yeah, that's definitely true. That was certainly an interesting date we had. Sometimes it's easier. I see. Speaking of which, let me get a few more for later. Feel free. Once more, Adine took the sky to hunt for fish. While it was interesting to watch her for a bit, she kept hunting for a while, and I started passing the time by collecting some seashells. Am I going to teach her about how you can hear the ocean in the seashells? Phew, that should last me for a while. Oh, what are those? Seashells? Well, I'm not gonna say I was bored. They're for you, or just a souvenir for when I get back home. Well, first off, I imagine "there for you" would be sentimental to the point that she would call me and ask me to meet her, which is something I don't necessarily want to do on this run. More importantly, though, I wasn't thinking about getting them for her. In fact, she lives here. I'm sure she has plenty of opportunity to get seashells. So, just a souvenir for when I get back home. I see. Achievement unlocked. Souvenir. You got some seashells. Are you sure it's okay to take them? Well, too late for that now. Oh gosh. Am I about to butterfly effect this world into oblivion? All that hunting was a good warm-up. I feel about ready to start with the practice now. Go ahead. I'll watch from here. Okay, I'll admit, I was enjoying the conversation so much that I completely forgot that we were here for the practice. Actually, now that I'll be part of an official competition, I need a fancy stage name. Do you have something in mind? Not really. Have you got any ideas? I probably have 3 or 4 that are about to pop up, actually. Ooh, I can come up with a custom name. Okay, Freefall, Lightning, Neo Wing, Angel, Stormhawk. I kind of want to come up with a custom name, but I don't know. Do you guys have any ideas for custom names? Because only thing I can think of is Greased Banana. Maddie says Cloud Chaser. That's a good one. Let me think. How about enter a stage name for Adine's stage name? Let's come up with a better name than stage name. Armedi also suggests Sun Dancer. I kind of wonder if there are certain names that she would react to. Like if I put in a swear, would she know it? I mean, I'm not going to. Or if I called her the name of another character, perhaps. Let's go with Sun Dancer. I like that one. Sun Dancer? Are you sure? Sure, why not? That sounds alright. Do you mind if I go with that? Not at all. Sundancer it is, then. Alright, are you ready to see some aerobatics? I certainly hope so. I'll start off with a few easy moves. The stage is yours, Sundancer. Thanks. Effortlessly, she took to the skies, circling around the area a few times before she started to do a few maneuvers. Here we go. Ah, that is a cool image. Oh, there's that tail of hers. Neat. Oh, I didn't look at her feet. Darn it. Well, it's a good thing I recorded this. A roll followed by a loop, after which she did another roll. It seemed to be less of a practice routine and more of a warm-up to me. Gradually, her maneuvers got more complicated. I saw circles that got smaller and smaller, a brief nosedive and multiple loops and rolls one after another. Then she landed and returned to me. What do you think? That was great! You haven't even seen the best part yet. Okay, I'm going to prepare my first aid kit for this one. What would that be? My very own Adine special. Or rather, Sundancer special. It's a routine I came up with and have been practicing for a while. It's pretty difficult, so I'll probably spend the rest of my time until the competition perfecting it as much as possible. What does it look like? It starts off with circles near the ground. Then, as I ascend, the circles get smaller and smaller. Once I reach the highest point, I go into a nosedive through the middle of the circles. At the show, I'll use a smoke trail when doing the circles, so everyone can actually see me going through the circles I made. That sounds pretty cool. B4 says, can I post a link? Give me a moment. I think I have Nightbot set to block links, and I don't necessarily know a way to, like, type in a command to allow you. So let me turn off the link block real quick. Links. Oh wait, never mind. I don't have him blocked. Go ahead and post a link then. Let me see here. That's kind of funny. I would show that in the stream itself, but I don't have permission from the artist, so I won't. But, there's the link for anybody who wants it. 99% guarantee by the time I post this at YouTube, I'll have forgotten to include the link, so anybody watching this at YouTube, remind me to post a link. That's not all of it. While nosediving, I'll do a few rolls, and just before I hit the ground, I'll pull up again. Lastly, I'll end with a few loops and go to the next maneuver. It all ends up making a neat shape in the sky with the smoke trails. Sounds like you've got it all figured out already. Yeah, now I only have to perfect my execution of it. Don't let me hold you up. Alright, here we go. With determination in her eyes, she took to the skies once more. When she reached a certain height, she slowly descended again until she was close to the water's surface. Then she started making her circles, slowly ascending as the circles gradually got smaller and smaller. Once her circles became as small as possible, she suddenly turned herself around and went into a nosedive. Her speed quickly increased while she moved towards the water. Then she did a roll and another, followed by the third. Dangerously close to the water's surface, she suddenly pulled up. But as she did so, one of her feet went below the surface, where it apparently caught onto something, causing her to spin out of control. I saw her feeble attempt to regain control as she barely managed to steady herself enough to get back to the beach. She made a rough landing, rolling on the ground a few times after colliding with the sand. Adine! Are you alright? Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. It looked pretty impressive until the landing. Ouch! My wing hurts. Let me take a look. Can you move it? A bit, but it really starts to hurt if I go further than this. At least it doesn't seem to be broken. Yeah, I guess it's a sprain. Happens all the time. Really? Well, not all the time, but it happens. What about the competition? The injury is going to put a serious damper on my practice schedule, but I'm not giving up anytime soon. I guess practice is over for today, at the very least. Yeah, let's head back. I should have some bandages in the cabinet over there. I'll get them for you. What now? Would you do me the honors? Of course. Where should I start? I think it's this joint right here. Yep, definitely. Okay, let me try to get this right. I have no idea how I would actually bandage a dragon wing. Can I ask you something? Sure, go right ahead. You went to visit Remy in the library the other day, right? How do you know that? I was there, and Remy told me about everything. What do you mean, everything? I just noticed there's the sound of me bandaging up her wing. Amelia. Oh. Why'd he tell you about that? He's dealing with a lot of stuff, it seems. Well, he isn't the only one. I actually wanted to talk with him again, but if he doesn't respond, then I can't do anything either. I see. I guess I remind him too much of her. If he knew what I know, I'm not sure what he would do. What's that? When she got sick, I often visited her. I just wanted to check up on her and take a little of the edge off, considering what she was going through at work. The night she died, I was actually with her. I stayed with her until pretty late, but as I had to work the next day, I eventually left. It was late enough, and I told her to take it easy. She told me that she was just going to finish up one little thing before she got some much-needed sleep. But only after I left did she realize that she had run out of her medication and went out alone to get a refill. If she just told me, or if I had paid more attention and noticed, I could have gotten it for her, and then none of this would have happened. And that's not even the worst of it. When she died, she was pregnant. Ah, dang. They had already made so many plans, and I expected them to announce their engagement any day. Remy doesn't know she was pregnant? He doesn't. Or at least, I think he doesn't. They couldn't talk to each other much, as they had to keep their relationship secret. It's not exactly something she'd want to mention in just a few sentences. If he knows, then it certainly wasn't from her telling him about it. I see. If he doesn't know, please don't tell him. I'm going to go ahead and promise not to tell him, as long as telling him is not required for the good ending. Alright. I know it must have been much harder for him than it was for me, but that doesn't mean I got out of it unscathed. I lost my best friend. I blamed myself for a long time too. I guess I still do. How could I face him, knowing that I could have averted this tragedy so easily? I think his own feelings aren't that different. How so? He also blames himself for not being with her when it happened. Pure Force says maybe you can do both endings on this run. Save before the fireworks and go with Remy, and then reload and go with Adine. I mean, I could. But I really want to see that scene with Adine when I'm being led to the portal, being forced out of this world. So that just about almost necessitates another Adine run. But at the very least, doing another Adine run would be able to do things quickly. Before says you can do it on the Anna run. I could, but here's the thing. I still have 2 mystery dragons to add to the title screen. And I don't know if one of those mystery dragons would interfere with hanging with Adine. So it's easier if I only focus on one dragon at a time. Thus far I've been able to focus on both of them, but I don't imagine that'll always be possible. I don't know, I'll think about it. Anyway, Remy also blames himself. Because they had to keep their relationship secret. Yeah. I see. That must be horrible for him. I think he still hasn't gotten over it. I wish I could help him. I really do. What did you do after it all happened? For a while, I just felt guilty. But eventually, I realized there are those who have it much worse than myself. I decided to take what I had experienced and to turn it into something positive. That's when I started volunteering at the orphanage. Why just let tragedies be tragedies if I could do something to help? I share the same sentiment. How so? I came here hoping that I could help humanity. Maybe you're not just helping humanity. Here, that should do it. How does it feel? Much better. Maybe with this I can even start practicing again in a day or two. And just be safe. Of course. Oh, I totally forgot I still have that copy of that map for her. As a matter of fact, I did forget that I had that copy of that map for her. Should I give her the map? Absolutely. By the way, I have something for you. Really? What would that be? Ta-da! Is that what I think it is? If you think that it's a map of the underground building, then yes. Wow, I really didn't expect that. How'd you get it? Let's just say I had a chance to inspect it alone, and there was no one between me and the copier to stop me. That's amazing. You know people could get into big trouble for this, right? Well, it's yours now. Do with it whatever you want. I guess I will. I have to warn you, though. What about? You might have heard about the water pockets surrounding the building. Any kind of disturbance could be fatal for any prospective explorers. I heard about that. Is it really as bad as they say? Yes, it is. I'd be careful if I were you, or at least wait until they have taken care of the water pockets, so there is no danger if you decide to pay it a visit. Alright. It'll be a while until I get a chance to visit anyway. All my free time right now will go towards practicing for the competition. I see. Well, thanks for the help with the bandage. And sorry about cutting practice short today. I guess you didn't get to see any proper aerobatics after all. It's no big deal. Your health is more important. Thanks for coming at any rate. You're welcome. I guess I'll leave you to recuperate now, and maybe I'll see you next time. Sure thing. Bye. Loss and passion. Anna, you're dead, so I don't know what you're waiting in bed for. Status... Neutral, good. Good. Not impressed. Don't have to worry about a phone call. Okay. Progress is progress. And I believe this is the point where the hatchery is robbed. And there's also a murder there. Do I want to rewatch the hatchery scene? Is something going to play out differently on this run because I've been hanging out with Remy and Adine and recommended that Remy volunteer at the hatchery? I mean, obviously, yeah, after the hatchery is robbed and we get the eggs back, I want to go there. But I mean, during the investigation, when we first go there. In any case, time for a break. Be right back.